I'm Karen Grof. That's my younger sister in the back there. 2 minutes younger, can you tell? And I'm hoping that we've gotten a card from everybody. I forgot to give her my briefcase here to put cards in. This is my granddaughter, Evelyn. She's my original grandchild. I tell her that because she was the first. And so if we didn't get your card, go ahead and put it in. And I'm just going to start talking because I'll send the younger one out here to get the cards. Come over here, young person. Sharon and I have known each other since before we were born. And together with our husbands, who they didn't know they were getting married when they married us, but they just have to like each other anyway. So 13 years ago, we started Happy Apple Quilts, which was a pattern company. And since then, we've just sort of kept changing with the times. We've been in business 13 years. We also own Florida Quilting Center, which is the statewide distributor of Innova quilting machines for Florida. And 2 years ago, we moved into our 7,000 square foot custom-built freestanding building. So just to let you know, we're just like you guys. We're a shop owner. I don't work for Studio E, but I love Studio E flannel, and that's why I asked Scott to let me talk about it. And here's the thing. We're in Tampa, Florida. People come into the shop and they go, I'll bet you don't sell flannel, do you? And we go, yes, we do sell flannel. If I can sell flannel in Tampa, Florida, I don't know where you're from, but you can sell flannel, okay? Your best customer is your well-informed customer. If they know a product, they will buy it because we're all like that. We buy what we know, right? It's one reason why money is spent on advertising. They want you to know their product. So if you know about flannel, you can sell it. So here's what you need to know about flannel. Flannel feels soft. It's why we love it. It's why things are made out of flannel. We like the way it feels. It is soft because it is actually made out of loosely spun yarn. It is napped. The surface of flannel is napped, which means it's brushed, and that kind of lifts up those loose ends of the fibers, and it gives it that fun, soft hand to it, okay? So you need to know that about flannel. It's soft. We like the way it feels. Another thing about flannel that you need to know is flannel is not a warm fabric that can only be enjoyed in cold climates. Flannel, Studio E flannel anyway, not all, but Studio E yarn-dyed flannel is made out of cotton. What do we wear in the tropics? Cotton, right? Cotton is a natural fiber. It's breathable. It feels comfortable. So the fact that flannel is made out of cotton means that it is not a warm fabric. Partly it's what you do with it. Now if you quilted it with a polyester batting, it's going to be a warm fabric, okay? So anyway, so that's something you need to know about flannel. And the third thing I want you to know about flannel or any other fabric is not all flannels are created equal. Not all fabrics are created equal. You have better quality than others, and if you own a quilt shop, you want to have the best quality products in your shop that you can get. We built our shop on quality and customer service because there's a lot of shops in our area, and you can get a variety of things. But people know if they come to my shop, they're going to get the best customer service we can give them, and they're going to get the best quality goods that they can give them, okay? That we can give them. So those are important things to keep in mind. Now, somewhere in my whole mess of stuff, I have my notes, which is supposed to keep me on track so I know what I'm going to tell you next. What I've told you about so far is flannel in general, but I want you to understand why I like the yarn-dyed flannel by Studio E. It's a little different. And we have done some projects that you can do that are going to help your shop because they're quick, they're easy, anybody can do them. And you can only do them with yarn-dyed flannel, okay? The difference about yarn-dyed flannel is typically your flannel is put onto gray goods. It is printed onto gray goods. Now gray goods just simply means it is your fabric in its raw state. That's what a gray good is, okay? And printed fabrics, they take the gray good and they apply the finish to one side. So they print on one side, and you've got the pretty side where the printing is. We call that the right side because it's the right side that you're going to show in your project. It's the pretty side. And then you've got the wrong side that's the wrong side to see in your project because that's faint, the dye didn't go all the way through, it's the mirror image, and it's just not pretty. So you've got a right side, wrong side with printed. Yarn dyed flannel, you don't have a right side, wrong side, both sides are the right side. Okay, it looks the same on both sides, or at least it looks finished on both sides. Sometimes you might have a yarn dyed fabric which might have a slightly different side. They might look different, but they're both finished. The other thing about printed fabric is you have a selvage edge. The selvage is actually part of the printing process. That selvage edge is created when it gets printed. So you have a selvage, you kind of want to get rid of that, right? Your woven fabrics that are yarn dyed do not have a selvage edge. Your dyed fabrics like batiks, they don't have a selvage, right? Shot cotton, I don't think shot cotton is a woven fabric. It doesn't have a selvage. Well, your yarn dyed flannels don't have a selvage. So there's projects you can do that do not have a hem on one side, which is kind of fun. You don't have to put a binding on it. So these are some of the projects that I'm going to show you, and I don't know if I skipped anything because my notes are in that little bag over there, and I think I'm going to look at it just to make sure I haven't forgotten anything important. Because, I mean, I've only been practicing this for like, 3-4 days. And that's really not enough when you get to be my age. I'm officially, she's younger. 2 minutes. But I'm so excited I now qualify for Medicare. That's one of the good things is I now have medical insurance. Okay, so what I want to show you is some projects that we've made. And these projects utilize the fact that we don't have to have selvages, and it's the same on both sides, okay? So let me make sure I've told you everything I want to tell you. Soft, not warm, good quality, right? No selvage, same on both sides. Those are the main things I want you to remember. So here's some of our projects. One of the first things I got started with, and I will tell you, it was my blank rep who gave me the idea to do this. Bless her heart, she was so helpful. My blank rep, Brenda, had brought in some yarn dyed flannel from Studio E, and she had just put a couple little circles of a panel on it, and she top stitched. And I thought to myself, you know, that's pretty darn clever, because sometimes you want to make a fast quilt. So we came up with what we call the no quilt flannel throw. We use this when we teach people like, say, middle school kids, because a middle school kid, and we've done this, we did this, you know, in December, they want to make something, right? And a lot of times they start out, they might make a pillowcase, and that's a great little project, but when they go home with this, that's as big as they are. And they go, wow, look what this great big thing that I made. Now here's why we love this kind of a project. It's pretty impressive. The kids are excited about it. Even the older people are excited about it. If they've never sewn before, they're like, that was really easy, and look what I made. So what we do with our children is we start with a great stripe fabric. This is a Studio E stripe. We use Henry Glass Studio E, things that have a nice motif to them. If you've got young people, you might not want them to use a rotary cutter, right? Just have them cut scissors right along one of the lines. They don't have to mark it, they just cut along a line, okay? We give them strips of fabric that are already cut, and we show them how to press it in half and make a flange. If you have young children, we've quilted and we've sewn with children as young as 4 years old. In fact, my little girls start when they're 3. My 2 little granddaughters started at age 3. Now, I really don't want them playing with the iron, so what I do is I give them the Violet Craft seam roller. They love it. You just fold that little thing in half, that little strip that you've cut, seam it, or press it, you've got your flange. Then you can take that flange and you put it along your stripe that they've cut with their scissors, and you show them how to make a seam. If it's not a perfect 1/4 inch seam, don't sweat it, it's okay. But what you've done is you've taught them, you've introduced them to I can sew a seam. Then you press that seam so that you get your flange right. You get it on the side. You can use your iron if you've got somebody who's maybe my age and they're okay with an iron, or use your seam roller. Again, you're pressing. You're giving them the fundamentals of how to sew with a really easy, simple project. When you get to hemming it, you don't have to bind it. You just put the flange on the wrong side, flip it over, top stitch, and you've hemmed the ends of your project. Now remember, no selvage, no binding required, no quilting required. Look at this great little fringe I got going on here. That is the edge of my Studio E yarn dyed flannel. Now you can see why I'm excited about this. For one thing, I'm lazy, and I don't like to spend a lot of time on things. I can get this thing done. If I needed to give a gift to somebody tomorrow, I could do this, right? Okay, gifts are typically time sensitive. You have a date certain. Most of the time when we have to make a gift, there is a date when the party's happening and you got to get the thing done, right? You know, if you need to make something fast, this is it. This looks like something. And if you've got young people, a middle school kid, can you see somebody going, look, Dad, what I made you for Father's Day? They are going to be so excited with what they made that they're going to come back and they're going to bring their friends, and your shop is going to go, wow, I'm so excited. I've got young people sewing, okay? So this is something we have had a really good time with. I can sell this flannel. Guess what? This is a perfect weight for Tampa, Florida. If you're a little bit cool, you can put this over you and you're not too warm, okay? So that's one of the projects. Now, one of the things that we've done with that's what I do with the younger kids. You can see I don't want them to get horribly bogged down with the idea that, oh, I got to make a whole bunch of these. But say you've got somebody who wants to go a little bit more, or maybe you've got somebody who's a little more of an accomplished quilter, right? This is one we did last year. This is a Henry Glass stripe. Fabulous. And we just put more stripes on it. Same thing. Great gifts. If you've got a whole bunch of people on your gift-giving list, you can make a lot of them. If you've got somebody who, oh, you just found out I've got to go to their graduation party and it is like in a week, they can take a throw to college, okay? So this is one of the things, fast, easy. Like I said, I'm L-A-Z-Y. Even my last name is a four-letter word. I like fast, easy, and I'm lazy. So something you can do real quick, and you've got a gorgeous little gift. Now, this is something else that I do because, again, I'm lazy. And have any of you ever made a rag quilt with flannel? Right. Okay, did you love it? Maybe. I have made them. I don't love it. I love the results. I love the feel of them, but I don't like the process. Why? Because it's too much work, right? You take 3 layers of flannel, you cut it all up into squares, you put them in the 3 layers, you sew the X's, you put all those stinking squares together, you make all those seams. There's 6 layers of flannel in that seam. You got to get those special spring-loaded scissors, right? You got to cut all those things. That's a lot of work. And then what do you have? You have a very heavy quilt. Now for me, that's too heavy a quilt. So what do? Again, I'm lazy. And so I wanted to make something fast, I wanted to make it easy, and I wanted to have it done. We take the yarn-dyed flannel, which is a fabulous yarn-dyed flannel. This is what I call a chameleon color. Looks great with that color, looks great with this color, right? Okay, so we take our yarn-dyed, we take 2 printed fabrics, just because you've got more selection. You take those 2 printed fabrics, you put your 2 printed fabrics wrong sides together, and you cut strips. You sew 1 seam down the center of that strip set. 1 seam. Then you're going to take your yarn dyed, put that together, sew your seams. We make them a little wider because we want it to fringe nicely. Sew them. Make sure you've got your finished edge on the outside. Sew across the ends, and then rag. Throw it in that commercial washer, yada yada. And you have just made a nice rag quilt. A lot less time, a lot less effort, and a lot less weight on the thing, right? Now, as a shop owner, you may say, but I like selling 3 times as much flannel, which you do with a rag quilt. So, all right, neither of these require backing fabric, they don't require batting, they don't require quilting, and they don't require binding. That's great for your customer. Less money, less time, less effort. They didn't pay somebody to quilt it, right? But how does that help you? Remember, we're a long arm center. We like to quilt quilts. We make money quilting quilts. Here's how that's going to help you as a shop owner. Your customer is going to finish this project in no time, and they're going to come back and they're going to buy more stuff. Do you know, I was thinking about this when I was getting ready, and I thought, how many times as a shop owner do I have people come in and they say, well, you know, I have so much fabric, I have to finish up some projects, I just came to get thread. And then I read on the plane on the way here, one of the reasons that people don't buy more at your shop, they say, I've got so much fabric at home, I've got to finish things. Number one reason people don't buy more fabric, I already have a whole lot and I haven't finished it. They're going to finish their project, they're going to be excited, I finished my project, I've accomplished something, I've made a gift, I'm going to go back and I'm going to get more stuff. That's how you're going to benefit as a shop owner, even though they're going to buy less flannel for each gig, okay? Think about it. More trips to your shop, more impulse buys, more things they're going to buy. Great stuff for you. Okay, now I think I have a couple other little projects I want to show you. I'm going to show you this right here. Okay, this is K, which stands for Karen. My friend Sue O'Very has, I forget, In the Hoop Design or something, Sue O'Very Designs. She put my monogram on here for me, real quick. Embroidery. Embroidered on there, took like a ½ yard of flannel, folded. I should have hemmed the end, but I did it like while I was waiting on a customer and just went, oh, let's just do this. Anyway, hem this, fold it, 2 seams, rag the outside, and you've made a pillow. Kids like to make this. 2 seams, they're done. They love it. If you don't want to do embroidery, just top stitch a little panel or something on the front. Send it off with that college kid. Make a gift for somebody. Very quick, not a lot of investment, but there is a wow factor to it. We have a great instructor now for our children's classes. We want our children sewing. She came to me one day and she said, you know what? Nobody ever makes a quillo anymore. Maybe we should do a quillo. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, you got to make a quilt, right? And then you put a pillow on it and you make a quillo. Well, with kids, it takes a while to make a quilt. You will do well with your classes if they're a 1-session class. If they have to come back 3 Saturdays in a row, they're going to have a conflict one of those Saturdays. They're not going to get there. They're going to go, I'm going out of town. I've got soccer. I got something. I can only come one time. You want a 1-session class whenever possible, okay? So why do you have to make a quilt to make a quillo? Maybe we should call it a throw-o, I don't know. So what we're going to do is we're just going to get our Studio E yarn-dyed fabric, and it's already hemmed on 2 sides, right? So to make a quillo, what you want to do, show them how to hem one edge. You're going to cut it off even, or they're going to cut it off even, right? It's like this, okay? So you're going to hem one end, you're going to make your pillow top, there it is, and then you're going to hem that pillow top into the other end, and you're done. They go, oh my gosh, I made a quillo, look at that. They're excited about it. They go home with a finished project. They didn't have to come in 3 weeks later, 3 weeks. How many of you have trouble with those several session classes? I know in Florida we do, because people just aren't in town that much. They go places, they do stuff. Now the other thing about our quillo, and this is a pattern, I actually started my company as a pattern designer. That's what got me into the quilt world, other than the fact that I started in '76. Beat ya. I started in 1976 quilting, and I had quilt before that, but that's when I really got going. Anyway, I forgot where I went with that, but you don't mind. You've done that before. Okay, so here's the thing about this quillo. Fast, and it's easier to fold up. Now I'm going to do the impossible. I have not practiced this nearly as much as I've done practice my sword juggling for the circus, so I might not be quite as good at it, but you can actually stand up on the plane and fold this thing. She's not, I embarrass her when we're traveling, okay? She's like, don't do that. Please change your hair color. Don't let anybody see you. But you're going to fold this like you fold other things. You don't have to spread it out on some big surface and do the tri-fold, right? Now, if I can do it right, I'm going to see if I can do it right. It's basically you're going to fold it like you normally would. You're going to fold it over, and then you're going to fold it again. And watch me mess it up. It's okay. You guys understand. But then you're just going to reach into that pocket, grab a corner, and pull it out. See, I folded it the wrong way. I just started practicing this on the plane. No. I just got back from Ireland, and I got to tell you, you get the little blanket right on the plane because it takes forever to get back. And you could take your own quillo. So anyway, you reach in the pocket, and you grab the corners, and you just turn it right side out, and you've got it folded. Much easier to fold. So like when you give this to your mother-in-law because she works in an office building and she's always cold, and so she needs a little something to put over her legs when the office is really cold, but then she gets all warmed up and she's like, oh, my back's killing me. I need a lumbar support, right? She's going to fold this sucker up. She's going to go, yep, I feel a lot better. Just think about the possibilities with some of these quick gifts. They're practical, they're fun. And you love this little panel right here? I love this panel. This is Serengeti by Henry Glass. I've got enough orders from my customers, just showing them this quillo. I have enough orders from my customers that I could sell 3 bolts like this right now. I can't get it anymore. So tell them you want it, okay? Because I need it. Okay. Nothing wrong with that. Alrighty. Now, I've shown you, oh, I forgot to show you the baby quilt. Did you know that a lot of times you don't get the invitation to the shower until maybe 10 days before the darn thing? You know the baby's coming, right? Maybe not. So you want to make something quick. So in our pattern, we also have the little baby quilt. Don't you love it? Now, this is one of those cases where it's kind of like a little waffle weave. I'm going to pass this around. So it's one kind of a weave on one side, one on the other. You've still got that great little fringy look here. Now this is Hello Baby, which I think is either Blank or Studio E. I think it's Studio E, yeah. Great little fabric, 2 printed, put them together, you've got a baby quilt, okay? So let's take a look at this fabric though, it's fabulous. Now, the other day, Friday, it's been less than a week, I'm on my way to the shop and I'm thinking to myself, what am I gonna wear when I go do this thing at market? And I didn't know what I was gonna wear, and I thought to myself, I need pajamas. I'm going to wear my pajamas, right? So I went in to the shop and I said, Ryan, make me some pajamas. I got to wear something to quilt market. I've been wearing my pajamas all day. And they are so comfy, I got to tell you, they're soft on the inside too. So here's my pajamas. Did you know that Kurt Cobain wore flannel pants? Gray flannel pants? That's okay. That's just a little trivia for you. I'm full of trivia. Now, Ryan put little buttons on the legs, see that? Little styling going on. I got a black top, matching buttons. But these are flannel pajamas. So then I got really carried away. I said to her, I need some other flannel pajamas because I have purple and I'm going to wear that with my little cape jacket that I've got. So I've got these, right? Now what she did here, she didn't hem the bottom. I got this neat little fringy thing going on. That's the finished edge. She put a little button and a gather, and I've got pajamas for almost every day of the week now. So I have a skirt, 1 seam. Look at that. This is a little leftover fabric that we had from a project. I mean, this is my leftover piece, right? I didn't have enough to make jammies. Can you see a middle school kid making this? 1 seam, just right down the back. We did put a little slit in it. I don't know why I say we. I didn't do it. Ryan did it. But look at the fringe. That is your finished edge, no hem. 1 seam, make your little placket, put your casing in, and those kids are like, I love it, right? So I had to go to Walmart and buy myself, because I've got 65-year-old legs. I went to Walmart and I bought some leggings, and I'll be wearing this thing. Isn't that fun? So I got myself 3 things since last Friday at my shop. So do you think you can have people making these things in a class Young people, let's get those kids sewing. Some of us who are in our 60s aren't going to be around forever. We need new people sewing, right? Get those kids sewing. Make stuff that they love. But feel the hand on this flannel. This is one of my faves. I'm going to have to get me a couple more bolts of that because it is such a great flannel. Some of them are actually softer than others, but they're all fabulous. But look at the chameleon gray here. It looks fabulous with this color. This is called Dreamcatcher. Is it Studio E? I thought so, okay. On this side, it looks fabulous with pink. The reason I ran out of this gray is because it's a great color, great fabric. Okay, now, did I forget anything? Oh, okay. Now, here's my philosophy in business. Have you ever heard of Zig Ziglar? Some of you have. Okay, I love Zig Ziglar. I listened to him on tape because he's no longer with us, but Zig summed up our business philosophy, and here's what Zig said. You can get everything you want out of life if you help enough other people get what they want. Okay, think about that for a second. I never really put two and two together, but that's how we've always done our business. What do people want? So, what do your customers want? Your customers want something that's fast, easy. They want something they can finish. That sense of accomplishment, that feeling of pride when it's like, I made this and people like what I made. They're enjoying it. That's a great feeling. So they want something fast, easy. Am I done? Fast, easy, quality. Think of the quality you're giving them. They want something economical. You've saved them money. They're not putting a lot of money into this thing. Now, that's what your customers want. They want ideas. Show them these things. These are ideas. They also, well, what do you guys want? Profit, money, success. You want to be successful? Okay. You want people to be happy? Do you see how they can be happy with this stuff? What do you want? Here's what Studio E is going to do for you to help you give your customers what they want so you can get what you want. Smaller put-ups, they're only like 12 yards on a bolt, I think. Okay, the put-up on those aren't as big, so your bolts aren't as fat. She's going to start drawing names in a second. Their bolts aren't as fat. You have a really good quality. And here's something I want you to do when you put this in your shop. Give them a couple of 2-yard cuts. Don't put all those bolts out. Do this. Take these to shows. Put a package, a label, a free pattern, whatever, okay? They're going to buy them as an impulse. Make that display. Show that quilt. Do that model. Your model will cost you a fraction of what it costs you to quilt things. We've got models hanging in our shop that I can't sell. You know why? I got too much money invested in it. It's a loss. So that's not going to happen if you make these fast models. Do you see how that can help you? And Sharon has, out of my briefcase here, that's my original granddaughter, Evelyn Rose. Okay, we're going to give away shot cotton. Have any of you tried Pepper's shot cotton? It's the best. It's the only kind I buy, and guess what? It makes up gorgeous with.